Good afternoon, friends. I'm Elizabeth Phelan, and welcome back to Unearthing Shadows Light. Sorry for the hiatus. There's been a lot going on over here. I went in for surgery last week for my carpal tunnel, which looks pretty gruesome right now, but it's all right. So I had to take a little bit of a hiatus. I couldn't really shuffle the cards there. There's been a lot going on. I'm sure you've all felt it. It's like a rush of heaviness, and then it dissipates, and then it gets heavy again, and then it dissipates. It's almost like we're climbing a mountain, and like every step we take, we're evening out, and then we climb and we even out, and we climb and we even out. So it's been a long, like, uphill battle for a lot of things, a lot of ego talk, a lot of you're getting in your own way. And I'm speaking on this because I'm also dealing with it. There's a lot of changes and shifts going on. So, lots of deaths happening, people crossing over, the energy is shifting. So as the energy shifts, if their vessel can't hold the frequency here, a lot of times they will shift out and will be better to help on the other side as opposed to here. Souls are being called home. But I've been called for the past couple weeks to talk about the dark night of the soul. And what that is, in certain terms, it's pretty much one of the hardest times you'll go through in your life. And there can be multiple times this happens. A lot of times it can get triggered by something dramatic happening in your life, like losing somebody, whether a person, place, thing, whether it's an actual relationship or a physical death of somebody or an animal, a lot of relationship stuff going on. So what happens is, in the dark night of the soul, it catapults you into your own darkness. All your fears, all your traumas, all your triggers. And as it catapults you here, again, we're radios. So we send out a frequency and we get that frequency back. So if you're going through a shit time and you're not understanding why this is continuously happening, things just keep getting worse. I keep hitting rock bottom, or just when you think you're at rock bottom, the bottom drops out. And if you can, do yourself a favor, and this is easier said than done. This is a moment-to-moment practice. But if you can, when you're finding that things are just piling one on top of the other and you're in this darkness, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel and you're not sure what is happening, you've been planted. So now we bloom. And by that I mean, when a dark night of the soul comes in, it triggers a spiritual awakening. It's like, it's a catalyst of all the person, places, and things that are going on kind of come in and knock everything off the hamster wheel. So if your wheel's spinning and spinning and spinning and it's stuck in one place, consider this your divine awakening. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not for the faint of heart. It's not pretty. It sucks. A lot of times, like, you're crying, you're depressed, you don't want to exist here anymore, suicidal, wondering why life happens the way that it does, why me, poor me, but the trick here is being aware of your emotions, because energy or emotions are energy in motion. So being aware of your emotions and observing them. Instead of, you can honor your emotions. Something comes up, you need to cry, scream, yell, whatever you need to do, hit a pillow, it doesn't matter. But you can sit with your emotions, but at some point being able to shift out of being immersed in them and being conscious of how certain things are affecting your emotions in this moment. So Many friends I know have been going through this. I myself have been going through my own dark night. Again, this triggers a, excuse me, a spiritual collective awakening. This is it. This is part of it. And also what the dark night does is it comes in and it makes you work through everything that's in front of you. Everything that's being given to you. Even when you feel like you can't take anymore. It's my belief that we have signed up for things before we even get here. So, you know, you're on the other side after a lifetime and you get shown this blueprint of your life and you're like, oh, you know, for me, I laugh. My friend Casey and I always laugh about this because we're like on the other side, you know, oh, that was quite a ride. That wasn't a big deal. I've in a lifetime, I've been skinned, I've been drowned, I've been, you know, all of these other things, arrow through the heart, whatever, you know, hung, whatever, all these deaths in certain lifetimes. And I'm like, oh, I've dealt with all this, some emotional turmoil, and this next lifetime doesn't sound so bad, so let's make this lesson this. And then I get to this earth plane, and I'm going through these lessons that I've chosen for myself, and I don't know why the fuck I chose them. They're really hard. But here we are, right? Like, life is the school, love is the lesson. Earth is the school, love is still the lesson. So here we are. And I find it fitting to, around this time of year, always triggers a bit of a dark night for myself. Many traumas come up. There's been a lot going on, moving emotionally through losing people. My Nana's very, very sick right now. She just turned 87. She's been a light in my life, and I don't know if she'll be coming back from this bout of physical distress. Her body's pretty much done here. She's, and I don't want her to be in pain, but I got a really big family. My dad's one of 9, and she's a legend. So there's a lot coming up for myself on loss there. So I'm bringing this up because many to wear mirrors for one another. So if I'm going through this, chances are somebody else out there is going through a very similar thing. And that's my goal here, guys, is just to meet you where you're at. No judgments. I'm no better than anybody else. And there's help for the dark night of the soul. There are many like videos you can go watch. There's meditations, there's breathing exercises, many things I touch upon in this channel in general. So go down and pick a video that resonates with you. Chances are it's for you at this time. I really don't like to put timestamps on them because these readings are timeless for collective wise. Speaking of readings, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to step out of my comfort zone like Spirit has been telling me to. And on my YouTube from now on, and in my Facebook, and in my Instagram, and on my TikTok, I'll be providing my link tree. I do readings for people. I am honing in on my mediumship skills now. I always state that I'm not a medium, but the reality is I am one. I'm just working closer with Spirit, and not for nothing, but in a certain reading like that, I don't like, that's a heavy emotion. There's normally a lot of grief there, and I want to be as accurate and egoless as possible, stepping into that kind of power. When you get a reading with me, a lot of the times, some people from the other side will come through, and if they do, I'll touch upon that. I do the Akashic Records, which, if you don't know what that is, it's the library to your soul from its very first existence. So that blueprint I was talking about earlier, when you're on the other side and you're about to reincarnate again here and you're choosing all these things, these are what we like to call contracts with persons, places, and things. And I can't get into your records without your permission. I have to state a very intense prayer. And I say intense because of the thought, the meticulous thought that goes into it. There's layers to it, and you have to check your ego. You have to get any ailments of your human being to the side so you can be a conduit for whatever is coming through for that person. After I do readings for the Akashic Records more than once or twice, I do like to teach people how to enter them themselves. And this way I can then help facilitate, and that time around I would have you close your eyes and I would walk you through your records and you would tell me what you saw, and we would write it down, and we would get rid of contracts and of persons, places, and things that either no longer serve you. A lot of past life comes over that is seen in the Akashic Records. You know, we carry many things from certain lifetimes. I've brought this up in a video before, but take the Salem witch trials, for example. Although that was great mass hysteria for back in the day, people, the women and the gentlemen that passed away in the trials, you know, got ridiculed for a certain belief system, or that's what it stemmed around. So maybe in this lifetime you're afraid to step into your power of knowing a certain religious aspect, or you know, you might be kind of quiet and not wanting to be persecuted or judged for your beliefs. So that's an example of something that could come up in your records. I normally do for records, I normally used to do an hour for them, and I highly recommend that because it takes me a moment or two to get into your records in general, but it's a very detailed, prescribed just for you kind of reading, completely for you, your total energy of all your lifetimes, of all the people entwined in your lifetimes, a lot of information that comes through there. So I would always recommend an hour, although I've recently learned I can kind of, that's my throat chakra right now because I'm nervous doing this video, because I'm putting myself out there, you know. I've never been one that likes to charge for readings or take on that kind of responsibility in that regard, or really push that, because to me what I do should kind of come for free. Like, I'm here to help. I've been through the nitty-gritty of certain things and I'm able to help. So I want to help any way, shape, or form, but Spirit then informs me, you know, it's an equal give and take. So I'm offering these services. So again, Akashic Records for about a half hour to an hour. We're looking at about $80, $50 for a half hour, $80 for an hour. I also am a Reiki master, so for those of you who don't know what that is, it's healing with hands. I open myself up as an energy conduit. I'm not a doctor by any means, but I can feel where your energy is lagging, and if there's any ailments going on. Obviously, if you're dealing with something like pretty severe, go to the, I'm not a doctor, but I am here to help shift and move that energy. So as that energy is going, it clears you out to be able to receive better instead of having your chakras blocked. Reiki works with the chakra system. Again, I do mediumship. I pull cards. So for card readings, you know, for a half hour, $40. For an hour, we're looking at $80. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm sorry. Prices are kind of a thing, and you know what? My information is there. So if you feel drawn to me and you think that I'd be able to help work with you, normally your intuition or your soul will tell you so. I'm ready to serve. I'm happy to serve, to help bring clarity and understanding into your life. I've realized over the past couple of weeks my divine purpose here. This has been going on for my lifetime, but more so this past year, and exponentially so in these past couple of weeks. My purpose here is, I came to this world to feel. like everything. Like I wanted to feel it all, which is why I got wrapped up in drugs, sex, you name it, I've done it. No judgment. Here we are, open to it all. I needed to come here and I wanted to feel everything. And upon feeling everything, I consistently ask, how do we do this without the pain? How can we do this without the pain? And unfortunately, you can't, in a sense. That's emotional pain, that's physical pain, that's a lot of encompassing all of it. You can't, because pain is a catalyst. The universe will make you so unbelievably uncomfortable and in pain to get you to move. No matter what it is. New job, relationship. Say you're in an abusive relationship and, it just keeps getting worse and worse. I'll go with the more severe one where it's physical aspect, and by more severe I just mean on a physical standpoint, because we all know emotional abuse can be just as bad, if not worse. But your significant other at first started yelling at you and then got in your face. Then over time it got progressively worse, and then all of a sudden their hands are on you, you're bruised up, bloody, and at that point, are you gonna move? You're not leaving. All these things are happening, you're not leaving. At that point, will you move, or will it take some other painful experience to get you to move out of that cycle? And I use that as an example, and I know it's horrendous, and my heart is with anybody who's experienced these things. I use that as an example because how bad does it have to get for you to move? I have to ask myself this on a daily basis. And I've been fighting with this video for a while now, just coming on here and being as candid as I can and being as open and honest with you as I can. I went to do it last Tuesday, the same day that I had my surgery for my carpal tunnel. And I'll tell you, I had the camera set up right here. I'm, speaking into the camera and the phone rings. So I have to get the phone. Then I put it back up to continue the video, and my cat comes in and knocks everything over. So I have to reset it up and restart the video. And then I get a text message nonstop because I'm in a group chat with my family, and there's a lot of us. So about my Nana. So that's dinging. And then all of a sudden the surgery center called and they asked me to come in like 2 hours early to get it done. So I was like, all right, the video is not meant to be. Something interesting that did happen though, while I was under anesthesia, I went into the surgery ready, and I knew that this is one of the last things that needed to be done for me to kind of like take off fully and step fully into my own power. Excuse me, I have dog hair flying all around me. Happens when you have 3 dogs and a cat. So I'm set the intention going into the surgery, obviously, that I had a safe, experience and everything went well and things were easy and good. But I asked while being under if I could remember where I go. And it was so interesting because I'm on the table and they're putting the oxygen mask over me and they've given me the anesthesia and I'm feeling a little droopy, and I'm talking to the doctors and I'm telling them I set this intention, and they're like, well, where do you want to go? And I'm like, the other side. And they're like, no, like you have to stay here. And I'm like, no, not to go over and die, but I'd like to, go in and see if they have anything for me, to sit and chat with whoever is wanting to talk, guides, loved ones, angels, whoever. I was open to it. Obviously, all love and light of the highest vibration, not getting the ickies in there. And so I'm on the table and they're putting the oxygen mask on me, and I'm seeing the lights on the top and I'm starting to like fade out. And all of a sudden, I'm in this room and I'm surrounded by all of these beings, and they were fuzzy. I couldn't make out exactly who they were, what they were, but it was my team. Like, everyone's got a team over there. I can help you figure that out as well if there's any questions to that for somebody out there. But my team was there and they were surrounding me, and it was like a light blue faded into like a beigey color, and everybody around me was wearing like this beige, just beige coloring. And they brought out a piece, these beings, they brought out something, and they clicked it into my right rib cage, right here. And all of a sudden, I hear all clear, and I fade out of there completely, and I wake up in the recovery room. So I remembered where I went. I knew I got a piece. I knew that needed to integrate for a little while, so I sat with it, and I sat with it. And upon checking in with certain friends that have abilities like I do, I mean, everybody has them, but are more honed in on them. You know, a lot of stuff came up for the divine masculine, divine feminine, and we both have that side within us, and it can get out of whack or out of balance. So there was talk of a piece that had come back to me that was from my divine masculine side, so which means I favor my feminine side, and my masculinity is probably more of my drive and my just chutzpah and my getting myself out there and the more logical sense of things. But I did find it interesting because if you look at my scar, or I'm sorry, not my scar, but my bruise, and you can't really, I'm trying to show you as best as I can, but as all these lines are here, it equals out to a 6-pointed star. And the 6-pointed star is also the Star of David. It's also the symbol for the heart chakra, but it also anchors in your divine feminine and masculine. It means as above, so below. So to get that validation, as I'm seeing the bruise on my arm and I'm looking up like a 6-pointed star, and that just comes in, the universe completely validated me on that. So I thought that was a really interesting experience, and as that piece has come in and it's being integrated right now, I'm being asked to fully step into my power. So here I am, happy to serve in any way that I possibly can, for the greater good of the collective. Again, Linktree will be in my bio or wherever it goes on YouTube. I'm not very tech savvy, so we're gonna figure that out. And as I keep talking, and I have been talking longer than usual, I am going to just pull a couple cards for the collective while I can now shuffle. And let's see what's happening. I just am looking for 3 cards. One fell out. Okay, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay. Listen is the first card. Manjushri, and I'm sorry about butchering that name, but listening. Being able to, instead of talking, like I just said that I was doing that in this video, being able to step back and listening, whether that's listening to your inner dialogue, the way that we speak to ourselves, because remember, thoughts become things. So if you're not kind to yourself inside, how do you expect to be kind to anybody else outside? It's an internal thing that happens. Yoga, when I get this, I get getting into the body and balancing out your chakras, whether it's taking a walk, it's walking in the grass, grounding yourself. I just went in the shower and poured Epsom salt on the bottom of my shower and just stood in it so I could ground myself. So a lot of that inner talk, that understanding, that being at peace with yourself and your emotions and your thoughts comes into play. And that being said, Choose peace. Choose peace. So we're at a time right now, and I can't stress this enough, that it is exceptionally important to be kind to yourself, to others, and just being able to be kind to your thoughts. So if you're in your head telling yourself how much like you hate yourself, that's spinning energetically hate. So it's being projected out, again, frequencies, radio frequencies. So to just get a little bit more clarity, Caroline Myss archetype cards, I'm going to pull a couple to find out, you know, the theme and the light and shadow attributes of these cards. The cards I picked from were from the Ascended Masters Oracle deck by Doreen Virtue. Excuse my speaking, guys, sorry. But I really, if you've made it this far with this video, I really appreciate you. I'm just looking for, yeah, 2. Okay. So we have Pioneer, which is passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. And the shadow attribute is compulsive need to keep moving on. So making your way with things. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. The grass is greenest where you water it. Feeling certain things are incomplete, and so you want to just move on instead of finishing certain tasks at hand. So, and also too, this is looks like a light bulb with a heart in the middle. So I'm also picking up on the fact of that heart space being opened, that your heart creates thoughts and your brain creates thoughts, and they can be in coherence together to allow you a more balanced understanding of what we call life. Then the second card I got was Child Nature. So the light attributes are friendships with animals, communication with nature spirits. Shadow attributes are tendency to abuse animals, people, and the environment. So don't take your environment for granted. We do that so often now, and we're in a different era, and you're going to start seeing it even more. This is the age of Gaia at the moment, Mother Earth. She's here, she's ready, willing, and able, but she's also angry. So we need to be kind to her. And as we move through our stuff and we alchemize it into gold, we get to live on, however that works. So I'm gonna stop that here today. Again, if you've made it this far, thank you so much. All my information will be down below. Please reach out, Facebook Messenger, YouTube, any of my links below. You can contact me and I'd be happy to help in any way, shape, or form. So thank you so much, and namaste.